Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 277. I am Andrew Eisen. I have a brain. You'll just have to trust me on this. And right now, if I may shoot, what is the word? Hang on. Dictionary, help me out here. Where's the other form? Size. Anthropomorphize. Okay, so there's no extra syllable. If I may anthropomorphize my brain for a moment, what it's doing is it's raising its gooey little arms and it's pounding on the inside of my skull, screaming, "Let me out! Let me out!" I don't know what my brain will do once outside my skull. Probably nothing good. I've seen horror movies from the 50s where brains escape the skull and go on rampages. I don't want my brain to do that. Cafe Fox Anime Momo, hello. So, in other words, I have a headache. So, for one of the presents I got my sister for Christmas was a thing called Hunt a Killer, which is a box that gets mailed to you, and it's a bunch of documents and trinkets that you use to try and figure out a mystery. A murder mystery. I thought it sounded neat, so I bought it for my sister for Christmas. And she just finished the first episode tonight, and she figured out where Beverly or whoever was killed. I'm like, you didn't figure out who did it? No, that must be a later episode. So good on me. I got something that my sister liked. She's looking forward to the next box. So, hooray for successfully getting my sibling a decent gift. Because if you saw the gift exchange video from a few months back, you'll know that I messed everything. Well, I didn't. It wasn't my fault. Just things happened where I got her like duplicate gifts. So, stuff she already had. It happens. So let's talk about Pokemon. Now, in January, Pokemon Legends Arceus, I'm not sure, came out. And a big open world Pokemon game that everyone said they always wanted, and one of the ugliest games I have seen in a while. Game Freak, you're bad at this. You should be embarrassed. That it looks embarrassingly bad. I mean, I don't normally come down that hard on development studios, but it's not just the graphics. The visual presentation in general is bad. It is. But it comes off as genuinely incompetent. Like, they genuinely do not know how to make a large 3D game, which may be the case. That said, I was pleasantly surprised to learn that there was no companion game. There wasn't Pokemon Legends Arceus and Pokemon Legends Pikachu or whoever, right? You know, two versions of the same exact game just to bilk more money out of Pokemon fans, right? There was just the one title. I thought that was a commendable bit of restraint that Game Freak has never shown. Matthew says it looks like a GameCube game, to be honest. Sure. Yeah, I mean, if you want, you could say it looks like a really lovely GameCube game. I mean, it impresses for as far as a GameCube game goes. But I mean, even the art direction in this game, I feel anyway, is bad. I don't think you could argue that technically it's any good from a visual presentation standpoint. I think it's objectively bad, but I also subjectively think that aesthetically it's lacking. And I'm not, Cafe Fox says Pokemon games always look awful, but people eat them up. Rarely do Pokemon games ever push the boundaries of visual presentation, but a lot of times they're at least aesthetically pleasing, charming, cute. Pokemon Legends Arceus looks like ass. But I've read that many people really like it, so at least it's fun for many people. So why, YouTube, why are you holding Anime Momo's message in review? I mean, okay, YouTube, you weirdo. But all the Vav Nagoos, those get through, but Anime Momo's little neutral expression face that gets that gets in the moderation, that gets moderated. YouTube. Just like you're going to flag this podcast as inappropriate, as you've flagged every podcast, which I'm going to have to submit it for review, and then you, a few days later, will send me an email saying, hey, we reviewed your podcast, and we got it wrong. It is appropriate. We were wrong. Again. As we always are. As we have been every single time. No, it's not annoying. You'd think at some point they'd just extend me the benefit of the doubt. It's like, wow, we've been wrong about Andrew's videos literally every single time. We haven't been right once. Not once. We've admitted. We ourselves keep admitting we get it wrong. I'm not saying YouTube is wrong. YouTube is saying it's wrong. So, you think they just to save itself the work of reviewing my video, which I don't believe for a minute it's doing, which makes the entire thing completely pointless. Feels like one of those tools that they use just because otherwise what's the point? So there was a Pokemon Direct this week. And, in addition to announcing various Poke things, including some new DLC for Pokemon Legends Arceus, whatever it is. I think we'll just call it Arceus, because it has the word arse in it. And I may be 42, but I have the humor of a 12-year-old, so... Also announced in the Nintendo Direct is a new Pokemon game. Already? Arceus just came out in January. We already... Hey, Ronan, haven't seen you in the chat in a while. Hope you're well. So they announced a new Pokemon game. It's coming out this fall, or at least the end of the year. It's scheduled to. Maybe it'll get delayed, but end of 2022. That was quick. Does it show the same restraint as Arceus? No. Because it's Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Vermilion or whatever. Yep. They're like, oh, it almost feels like they released Arceus and they were like, oh shit! We forgot to rip off our fans by releasing two very slightly different versions of the same exact game and charging full price for both. Oh, damn. We better get another Pokemon game out there. Toot sweet. So yeah, PLA was a spinoff. What is PLA? I'm gonna know it as soon as you say it. I'm gonna go, oh yeah, but PLA. Let me see if I can think of it before Matthew spells it out. No, I don't know. But, yeah, Pokemon Scarlet and, shoot. I should probably write this stuff down. Let's see. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Okay, there we go. So Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which now they may be very different. I don't know. But judging by history, they are going to be almost exactly the same game. With just enough difference that super fans are going to want to buy them both, because gosh darn it. Oh, it's exactly what I'm talking about. Pokemon Legends Arceus. So what Matthew's saying is that, you know, they're keeping to the regular dual Pokemon games every 2 years. Arceus was just the spin-off. Much like stuff like, you know, new Pokemon Snap and stuff would be. And Arceus feels more like a new direction of Pokemon, which is interesting because Scarlet and Violet seem to be taking a lot of cues from the more open-world nature of Arceus. And, although I really absolutely detest, which doesn't mean much coming from someone who's not really a fan of the main Pokemon games, but I really did. Let me put it this way. If Yakuza pulled that shit, I wouldn't buy it. Yeah, Mario, Metroid, Zelda, Danganronpa, any of the game series I really like, if they pulled that garbage, Resident Evil, I would, Tomb Raider, Valkyria Chronicles, I'd be like, nope, I'm out. Dragon Quest, no. Dragon Quest Gold and Dragon Quest Platinum or something, no, absolutely not. I'm 99% certain, unless the game looked really fun. But I definitely wouldn't buy both. And I'd feel really crappy about. I don't know. I mean, it's not the biggest issue facing our world, I know. But at least Pokemon Scarlet and Violet aesthetically look a lot better than Arceus, which looks like Arce. Yes. It doesn't look good from a visual presentation standpoint, not even by Switch standards. I mean, I hate to drag up the obvious, but The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, originally made for the Wii U and came out in 2017, launched with the Switch, looks better than a game that's coming out 5.5 years later. It really should look at least as good. I mean, at least aesthetically, it looks a lot better than Arceus, but whew. Let's see. Zelda did Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. That is true, but I've not played them, but from what I understand is they are actually two different games. So, take that for what it, for I have no idea how accurate that is, because I've not played them. But my understanding is Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons are genuinely two different games. So, let's see. Cafe Fox says, I feel like... Matthew says, Pokemon Legends Arceus missing a lot of features the mainline game has. Yeah, it kind of feels like it was a quick proof of concept or test run. It's like, is this going to work? Like, will people accept this direction for Pokemon? And it seems to have been a success. Although, Scarlet and Violet are coming out right on the tail of this sucker, so... Maybe Arceus was like a tech demo, like an internal proof of concept. And like, hey, this works. Yeah, release that. This is a proof of concept. This isn't a game. It looks like shit. I release it anyway. Those Pokemaniacs, they'll buy anything. Well, can't argue with that. Maybe. I don't know. It's Cafe Fox. Feel like Sword and Shield just came out like a year ago. Lindy, hello. Matthew says, in Pokemon's defense, Pokemon games have hundreds of unique models. Most games, even AAA, only have a few dozen. Um, if what you're getting at is that's why they generally don't look as good because a lot of the resources are going into modeling, rigging, and animating hundreds of unique characters. I don't doubt there's some truth to that, but at least in Arceus's case, the game looks bad regardless of how... I mean, okay, they spent all their time on the various characters. Maybe, but... And maybe it's difficult to load so many of them in and out of memory. I don't know, but just technically, the game looks terrible. Actually, technically and artistically, it looks really bland and awful. It feels kind of like a proof of concept. Although a lot of people find it to be very fun, so, you know, good on them. Let's see. I feel like they're one game that... Chicago says, one game that we're split into two. Once you beat one, you use the code to continue in the other. It's been ages since I played. Yeah, I think there's something like that. I seem to remember someone saying that it was originally going to be like 3 games, and then they dropped the third one. So, yeah. Oop. Anime Momo's little smiley face got held in review again. And, you know, to be clear... Games don't have to look good to play good or be fun. But there is like a minimum baseline standard of visual presentation competence that we kind of expect at any given time, right? I mean, back in 1986 or 87, when we were playing the NES, if someone, let's fast forward to 91, 92, whenever the hell Super Mario Kart came out and had its wonderful Mode 7 graphics. Well, what if it looked like Pole Position 2 on the Atari 7800? It would still be a fun game, no doubt, but why does it look so terrible, you know? Maybe that was kind of a revolutionary game for its time. That's maybe not the best example, but... Game Freak, you can do better. You're better than this, Game Freak. I believe in you. Make sure you're paying your employees, and don't abuse them. Like some other companies. You know, Ubisoft and Activision and Riot and probably a lot of others. You know? Anyway. So we got Pokemon Arceus, and less than a year later, we're getting Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Scarlet and Violet? Scarlet and Violet. And yes, Pokemon fans, you need both. You will buy both. So, last week, or the week before, maybe sometime in the last 2 weeks, Cuphead came out. Not the game. The game's been out for a couple of years. Cuphead, the animated television show, now streaming on Netflix. I should probably debut review it. I haven't watched it. I haven't played the game either. Because I'm very afraid of dying over and over or something. I just haven't got around to it. Looks fun. I like its aesthetic. So the show came out. Season 1 of the show dropped all at once on Netflix in the last couple of weeks. And this week, I believe, it was announced that Season 2 is coming! Oh, cool. So it must have done well. This summer! What? Oh. Well, that means that it's already done. So, did you order 20 episodes and you just released the first half and called it Season 1? What were you going to do with the second half if Season 1 was not well received? Release it anyway. Bury it next to E.T. It makes me think, and I've seen this a lot. I've seen this happen a lot with various animated shows on streaming services, where season 2 of the animated series will come out like 6 months later. This has happened with the newer She-Ra show. It happened with the Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous show. Castlevania, where it's like, oh, you liked season 1? Would you like season 2? Here it is, 6 months later. There is no way you got it. You already had it done. So it makes me wonder why they're doing it that way. Hopefully it's just a way to pace it out, a compromise between dumping it all at once and releasing one new episode every week, right? Because they don't seem to, generally speaking, they don't seem to want to do a series release where they release one episode over 2.5 months, one episode a week over 2.5 months. No, they're like, no, we'll just release 10 episodes here, and then a few months later, 10 episodes here. Maybe that's what they're thinking. I hope it's not something like they're ripping off the animators somehow. Like, it's like they order a batch of 20 episodes, and they're like, okay, if we just released all 20 episodes, and it was really popular, and we wanted more, we might have to pay more for them. We might have to bid up. But if we order 20 episodes, and we only release 10, and it's really popular, then we can just release the other 10 in season 2 and not have to pay anymore. I hate being cynical, but it's probably something like that, you know? It just... I always get suspicious, and it's like, oh yeah, we've got the second season of an entire animated show ready to go in 4 to 6 months. It's like, no you don't. No you don't. It is impossible to do that. You had it done already. Which makes me wonder why you're releasing it, why you're calling this season 1 and that season 2, when it's clearly the same batch of episodes. Ronan says, I just can't play these indie games with really pixelated graphic. I get that stylistic choice, just can't get into it. Oh, well, that's a shame, because there's a bunch of really good ones. But, I get that. One of the types of animation that I really dig is stop-motion animation, like the stuff from Aardman and Laika. But I know people who really... A Nightmare Before Christmas, one of my top 5 favorite films of all time. But my mom, for example, can't stand stop-motion animation. She just can't watch it. It just bugs her. And that's a shame. She doesn't dislike the stories. She just dislikes that animation style. For something about it just needles her. She just doesn't like it. And that's a shame. And I probably have something similar for some aesthetic or genre that I have a hang up over. Dubbing, especially for live action stuff. If my only option is to watch a movie dubbed, I'll probably just not watch it because I can't stand dubbing. Mouth flaps not matching really bothers me. Some people prefer it that way. I think it's usually probably more of a preference, as long as it's not some hearing related issue or reading related issue. It's probably more along the lines of, I prefer to hear it in English more than I prefer the lip sync, which, perfectly valid. But even if it's, I really want to see this movie, well, the only option is dubbed. I'll watch something else. Um, Chicago says, what if they just ordered the new season? There are kids in China animating round the clock to have it ready on time. They just whoever the studios, they're just very fast. Cafe Fox, I could have sworn that they said they wanted to coincide with the expansion coming out in June. Yeah, the second season, or rather the next batch of episodes for Cuphead is, I think it's June. It's definitely this summer, probably June. Matthew says it's also possible that some of the second half of the order wasn't done yet. That's true. That's true. They may have ordered 20 episodes and said we can have 10 done by February, and we'll have the latter 10 done by June. That's possible too. But He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Revelation, whatever that was called, that was sold as 10 episodes, just you get 5 in October and 5 in December, whenever they were actually released. They didn't do the, oh, you like these 5 episodes? Well, here's season 2. They didn't do that. It's 10 episodes. We're just releasing 5 now and 5 in a month or two. Cuphead was sold as a full season. And then Netflix announced this, I think it was this week, that we're doing season 2 because it was so good. It's like, no, it's already done. I mean, it is possible, like Matthew said, that they are still finishing it up. But this sounds like part of the same order to me. The same initial order of episodes. So, hopefully nothing untoward is going on. But I'll admit, I do tend to be cynical in this area. Ronan says, I'm with you on the dubbing. I can watch it, but only under duress. All right, I'll watch it, but I won't like it. For some reason, one of the most vivid memories of watching a dubbed film, I was probably still in the single-digit ages. It was probably the first time I actually noticed something was wrong, and I think it was one of the Godzilla movies. Because I remember... there's two guys. One's got the guy by the lapels, and he's like shaking him up against a wall, and the actor just opened his mouth like that and then closed it. Obviously, whatever he said was a single syllable, but what he ends up saying was like 3 or 4 syllables. You know, he was like, "He'll kill us all!" I'm like, yeah, I don't know what the original word or line is, but I remember as a 9-year-old or whatever watching this Godzilla movie going like, well, wait a minute, that's something's wrong here. That's like 4 syllables just came out of his mouth and he just opened and closed. I that was probably just the first time my little childish brain cottoned on to what was really going on here. Because when I was 8 or 9 years old, I doubt I really comprehended this is a film that was made in another country where they speak a different language. I probably wasn't aware of that fact. In fact, when I was very young, I don't think I ever noticed pan and scanning, which is thankfully something they've now that I gesture towards my television. Now that TVs, let's go on a trip. Now that TVs look like that, they don't pan and scan things so much anymore, and thank goodness, because TVs are all... If they did, people would probably complain about... I feel for anyone who shoots a movie 4:3, the proper aspect ratio is 4:3, the square format, because probably old people would look on their widescreen. Why are there black bars on the sides? Zoom that sucker in, or stretch it. Oh my god, that was so common back in the early 2000s. I would so often see people watching 4x3 shot television shows or sports events or the nightly news or whatever. Stuff that's shot 4x3, but they had their newfangled 16:9 television sets, so they would stretch that shit out. I'm like, no! Why are you doing that? Reminds me... Some of the... For those of you who might be younger and don't know, or have blissfully forgotten, when a movie is shot this wide, like 16:9, our TVs used to be square. So what they would do a lot of times is they would simply zoom in on the frame, but they would pan across it. You know, if the two people in the center of the frame would walk over to the right, they would just pan right across the image to keep them in frame, which made it look really awful. Especially if you had a frame like this and you had a character here and a character here, there wouldn't be much you could do. You could just kind of pan back and forth to the characters, whoever was talking, or just keep it in the center and you'd have basically, like two noses talking at each other, you know? The other thing they would do is they would take the entire image and they would just squish it into a 4x3 aspect ratio, which would make everyone look really thin and tall. And it amazes me. It always just utterly floored me that when presented with what's actually going on. I totally get that some people thought, why are you adding black bars to the top and the bottom of the image? I don't want that. What they didn't want was to zoom in. They wanted you to remove those bars so that they could see the missing picture information. What they didn't understand is that if you zoomed in to get rid of the bars, you'd lose information on the sides of the screen. So what always floored me is when people would I don't care how much picture information I'm missing or how you distort or warp the image. I want every square millimeter of my television filled with picture. I don't care what you have to do with the image, just fill the damn screen. It kind of reminds me of YouTube videos I see that are shot with a cell phone held vertically, and they so you'll see this long, tall image in the middle of the wide video player, and what they'll do is they'll duplicate the image and enlarge it and put it in soft focus in the background. Please stop doing that. That looks so ugly. I hate that. Number one, stop shooting vertical. Number two, if you shot vertical, don't fill in. Don't do that. Please, 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 please stop doing that. And while we're at it, if you follow me on Twitter, you've seen me complain about this for years. Please stop putting a few seconds of clips of the movie trailer in front of the movie trailer that I'm already watching. Please stop doing that. I already clicked on your movie trailer. I'm already watching it. You don't have to sell me on the movie trailer that I'm already watching. I'm already watching it. You got me. I'm here. I'm watching. You don't have to sell me. You don't have to advertise the thing that I already clicked on. Stop doing that. It's annoying. You're spoiling your own trailer. Spoilers! Well, now I know a big explosion's coming. Now I know the big funny laugh line of the trailer. Now I have no reason to watch the trailer because you spoiled your own trailer. Spoilers. And yeah, I know. There are probably metrics somewhere that say that movie trailers that do that have better retention rates, but I don't like it. So there. It shouldn't be done because I don't like it. Which is why once or twice a week, usually you'll see me tweet about that and chastise Sony Pictures as a bad one. They always do that. Lionsgate does that. Universal probably does. A lot of them do that. I wish they wouldn't. It's stupid. Because really, if you make a trailer and people are clicking away in the first 15 seconds, Get someone else to cut a trailer because you're boring people. Seriously, if you can't hold someone's attention for more than 15 seconds, you're doing it wrong. Lindy says, usually they will only release the episodes when the whole season is done. If anything, they will release the episodes later and not wait for the whole season to be finished animating. That's my understanding too, is they will, I mean, it's possible that in some cases they might say, well, we want to release now, we have the first batch done, we'll release them now, and then we'll release the latter half when they're done. That can happen. But yeah, usually it's a matter of, like, I would be surprised to hear that that when they released Cuphead's, the first 10 episodes of Cuphead, last week or the week before, whenever they released it, I would be genuinely surprised to hear that the latter 10 episodes were not already in the can. I'd be not saying it's impossible. I would be surprised if that were the case. Chicago says Godzilla's grunts and squeals didn't match it. So that's right. They dubbed Godzilla. Although that is something that I have seen, usually in cartoons, but if you're a fan of anime, you've no doubt seen this. A lot of times, the cat or the dog in an anime will be voiced by an actor rather than just getting a meow or a bark from an actual cat or a dog. Which is not a criticism. We hire Frank Welker and a handful of other guys to make funny animal sounds in our cartoons too. What I find particularly funny is, for the dub, they hire another actor to do the vocal performance for the cat or the dog. Arf is arf in Japanese, or a dog bark sounds like a dog bark in both languages. No one would be saying, well, that barking dog sounds very Japanese, and everyone else is speaking English, so it's really weird to my ears. It is so weird to me. Similarly, there's I have a show on the shelf back there called, what is it called? Girl Power, I think is what it's called. GRRL. And there is a deaf character in that show. And her vocal performance was done by a deaf actor. When they dubbed it into English, they and to be clear, it was, the deaf actor was not speaking words, but making sounds with her voice. Not actual words, just the vocal sounds that she makes when she speaks. They dubbed that. I don't know why. Unfortunately, if I remember correctly, they dubbed it using an actor who was not deaf. And I do not doubt that the actor that they hired tried her level best to give a genuinely good performance. But to my ear, anyway, it sounded like someone making fun of a deaf person and how they sound in a not flattering way at all. My point is if the original language features a character who whose vocal performance does not consist of actual words, it's just animal noises or grunts or groans or something like that, I don't see a need to dub them unless there's some contractual thing going on here where they would have had to pay the original actor and they didn't want to deal with that nonsense, and it's just cheaper and easier to hire a new actor to do the voiceover performance for the animal. It's probably something like that, but it always strikes me as weird. It's like, but the dog is just making arf, 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 bow wow. I'm not going to try and mimic an actual dog bark, but Why are you dubbing the dog bark? Just it's a dog bark. Just use the dog bark. Again, it might be the case where they have to replace every vocal performance for some contractual business reason. I don't know. But it always comes off as odd as it's like you dub the cat. That seems like a waste of resources. You could have just used the original performance. It's fine. Ronan says, except for old kung fu movies, but those are grandfathered in and hilarious. There you go. Chicago says, some languages don't translate dog sounds the same. In English, it's arf. In Spanish, it's go. No, I mean when someone's giving like not. I know the onomatopoeia for a dog bark is rough, or arf, or bow wow. That's not the actual words or syllables other languages would use to describe a dog bark. That I get. I'm talking about performances where you have an actor going arf. I can't do a dog bark. An actual semi-realistic cat meow, right? If the person in Japanese is going meow, you don't really need to hire an English voice actor to go meow. Just use the it's there. It's a cat meow. We get it. There's not a difference between the cat meows sound exactly the same in both languages. There's no reason to dub it. Much like in Girl Power, I didn't see any reason to dub the original actor's vocal performance, because it should be the same in both languages. You're not changing the dialogue. There's no actual dialogue to change. It's just sounds. I mean, they don't, so far as I know anyway, they don't redo all the Foley. It's like, well, we need to record all new footsteps and slaps and explosions and stuff. Nope. No. Something blowing up sounds exactly the same in both languages. Footsteps are the same in both languages. No need to re-record that. That's a waste of time. Unless maybe the soundtrack was like one channel and they couldn't separate anything out and they had to rebuild the entire thing from scratch. I mean, I suppose that could happen, but... Chaos says, someone make a clip of Andrew meowing low. There you go. And splice that in with the so effing fluffy clip from the reaction video. There you go. So I'm still playing Horizon Zero Dawn. Had to look at the cases on the floor. Done in Archive, says Cafe Fox. Thank you. What was I talking about? Horizon Zero Dawn. Still playing it. Still enjoying it, but does this game end? This game is long. Good God. I feel like I'm not making any progress in this game. Probably because I'm not doing any of the main quests. Because I've just been futzing around with the myriad other things to do. Everywhere you go, there's a side quest. There's main quests, side quests, errands, tutorials. Every time you get a new weapon, you get a tutorial quest, which actually gives experience and items and stuff. But there's also the cauldrons, which is a cave or dungeon kind of a thing. There's the tall neck thing, which is the tower climby thing, which is kind of a small game in and of itself. Basically, you have to figure out where you need to stand so you can jump onto the damn thing. Plus, there's a whole bunch of collectibles. There's the metal flowers to collect. There's the broken cup things to collect. There's the Banuk toy doll figurines to collect. And that doesn't count the DLC where you have pigments, um, some crystal thing that you mine out of the ground, blue gleam or something like that. Um, what's the other collectible that's up there? There's another. The animal figurines are up there too. That's like 13 different things right there. Um, yeah, there's a 14. There's the Hunter Lodge uh, trials. There's parkour challenges. If there are, I'm not remembering them, or I haven't found them yet. Anyway, hi Jared. Um, I'm still enjoying the game, but I have no idea what the overarching plot of this game is. Because I guess I've been away from the main path for so long. The nice thing about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is in the center of the map is Ganon's castle. Ganon's in there waiting for you to come in and kick his butt. That's it. That's the story. Once you get off the plateau anyway, anytime you want, you can march up to his front door, kick it down, and get to Ganon Heine kicking. There's several ways to get in there, but so at anytime you feel you're ready, just go into Ganon's castle and get to it. Other than that, explore all of Hyrule at your leisure to whatever completion you feel interested in. Every single side quest and town you visit and all the characters you meet, all of the side quests that you do and errands you run, all of it feels like you're improving and learning and getting better items and weapons and equipment and armor so that you can be ready to face Ganon. It all feels in service of the end goal of the game. Horizon Zero Dawn, for me, doesn't feel like that. It feels like, whatever the story is, I'll get around to it. There's the whole Frozen Wilds thing where we gotta go up to the volcano place for reasons. There's the guy who lost his daughter, who ran away who's doing a whole Romeo and Juliet thing. Then there's this other encampment of Oseram people who are trying to fend off bandits, and then there's the whole Hunter's Lodge side quest where none of this has anything, so far as I can tell, to do with the main story. I mean, what's his name? Olin, or whatever his name is, has been standing in the same place for the last 60 hours waiting for me to show up to do something, whatever the hell the story is. I have no idea. So I think Breath of the Wild actually handles that a little bit better than Horizon Zero Dawn. Cafe Fox says, Jared says there's scenery collectibles. Oh, that's right. That's right. There's 15, I think. There's the viewpoints where you can stare into a little window into the past. 16. There's a metric butt ton of data logs and stuff just scattered all over the world for you to pick up and read. There is a lot. Here's an interesting comparison between Horizon Zero Dawn and Breath of the Wild. Both games are absolutely lousy with stuff to do. Their big open worlds are chock-a-block with interesting things to find. Here's the difference, though. In Horizon Zero Dawn, the flowers, the figurines, if you're talking about the DLC, the pigments, all of that stuff is just sitting there. You just have to walk over to it and pick it up. That's it. You buy a map, it tells you where they all are, it tells you the general area that it's in. It doesn't tell you exactly where it is, it says it's in this general area. So you wander over to the Metal Flower area. The 17, the corruption areas. Clear the corruption from the certain areas. You wander over, you turn on your scanner, you go, There it is, and you run over and you pick it up off the floor. Kind of boring. Now, once you collect them, you can trade them in for prizes, which is cool. But collecting them is not very interesting. It's not like, for the most part, there's no trick to it. There's no, you have to figure out how to navigate your thing. You have to complete a little puzzle or mini game or do a quick... No, it's just sitting on the floor. Just go grab it. You might stumble upon, before you buy the maps, you might stumble upon these just exploring. But once you find the maps, you know pretty much exactly where they are. You just run on over, scan her till you see it, and you just pick it up off the floor. Whereas in Breath of the Wild, I'm thinking specifically of the Koroks. The Koroks aren't just sitting on the ground playing pinochle and you walk over and you grab them. They're hiding. And they're hidden in a... wouldn't go so far as to say myriad, but a variety of different ways. You know, some are hiding under rocks. Actually, hundreds of them are hiding under rocks. Some under piles of leaves. Some will appear if you jump through a circle of lily pads, or if you throw a rock in a hole, or if you balance a bunch of rocks on each other, or if you see a ball and then you see a hole and you're like, I'll put the ball in the hole. Ah, it's a Korok. Or if you see a balloon and you shoot the balloon and it's a Korok. See, there's these little environmental puzzles that encourage exploration. You see something interesting, you go over and you figure out a way to interact with it, and you're surprised with a reward. I found that a much more interesting and much more rewarding way to handle it in Breath of the Wild. Now, the criticism I have for that, and I talked about this in my Bad Breath of the Wild YouTube series, is that while there's 900 hidden Koroks, there's only about 15 maybe different ways to hide them. They have, you have the geoglyph puzzles, which you'll have like a circle of rocks where one of the rocks is missing, so you need to find a rock and complete the circle, and it's a Korok. I mean, the first time you run across that, that's really neat. You see this geoglyph on the ground with an obvious missing spot, so you look around, you find a rock, you plop it down. Oh my gosh, it's a Korok! Isn't that like yahaha, yay hey hey, whatever they say. But of the 900, I counted, and I think of the 900 Koroks, it's something like 75 of them are the geoglyphs. It's like a tenth. like a solid tenth of the Korok puzzles are geoglyphs. Most of them are circles. A few of them are different patterns. Most of them are circles. It's the same... So, unfortunately, it's like the same 12 or so puzzles repeated over and over and over. And I'm not saying they should have 900 unique puzzles. No, but I think they could have come up with more than they did. Regardless, it's much more interesting, I thought, how it's handled in Breath of the Wild than how it's handled in Horizon Zero Dawn. Let's see. Open world games are great, says Cafe Fox, but they can be kind of exhausting. That's why I've never wanted to get into any of the Xenoblade games. The sheer scope of those games are mind-blowing. I wouldn't exactly call Xenoblade open world, but I would say it has a very large scope, and it is a very long game. Because I've been playing it for years. Now, granted, I did take several years off. I don't know how far I am through the game. I did get all the way to the top of the Bionis, and then ran across to the Mechonis, and then fell off. Somehow didn't die, and now I'm at Mechonis's feet, so I imagine I'm probably going to have to run up the entirety of the Mechonis now, which I'm like, oh my god. Am I only halfway through the game? Actually, I might be about 2/3 of the way through the game, because the first time I stopped was up by the Bionis' neck, I think, where the Nopon village is. Because I'm one of those, as you can tell with the way I play Trails in the Sky, I talk to everybody. And there are a lot of Nopons in the Nopon village. And the first time I got there, I looked at the 36 Nopons, and I'm like, yeah, no, nah, I'm hanging it up for tonight. I don't want to talk to all these little dudes. And then I just never picked it up again. I just got distracted by the next shiny thing. And I remember looking up like a Let's Play of his name's like Chugga Conroy or something like that. Because he had like a 90 episode Let's Play of Xenoblade Chronicles, and I scrolled through his playlist until I found the Nopon Village, and it was something like, episode 35. I'm like, oh my god, I'm only a third of the way through this game. So, let's see. There's a large quest marker that tells you the location to go. You mean it? Oh, yeah. The map system in Horizon Zero Dawn is very good. You'll never be any of the quests or side quests or errands or tutorials or whatever you're looking for. Just pick it out of the menu and it will highlight on the map, and it will chart a path for you using the major roads. You may want to go overland if you want. But, I know where the main path is for Horizon Zero Dawn. I just haven't bothered because I'm very easily distracted. I'm also one of those gamers who feels like I need to finish everything available before I move the story on. And in Horizon Zero Dawn, pretty much everything is available at the word go. It's not like, okay, in this first, there's in the Yakuza games, the Yakuza games are separated by chapters. So you may be in chapter 3, and you may have these 5 different side quests available. There's 70 side quests in the entire game, but several side quests won't be available until chapter 4. More won't be available until chapter 5 and 6. The way Horizon Zero Dawn works pretty much is once it gives you free reign of, okay, the reins are off, the training wheels are off, go, every side quest is pretty much available. So I haven't made it very far in the main story because everything else is available for me to do at this point. So I'm kind of like, okay, I've got to finish all this stuff. Then I can get on with the main story. Maybe it's partly a fear, like, if I get too far in the main story, these quests the availability might close off and they might be lost to me forever. Like in the Professor Layton game, if you miss a puzzle, it's gone forever. Although most, if not all, the games have some puzzle keeper who will collect missing puzzles that you can't go back for. So usually not a problem, but Chaos says, Hyrule Castle is a test of courage. Head to it whenever you feel brave enough. Yeah, once you get off the plateau, you can walk right up the front door with a stick if you want. And I know a lot of speedrunners just run straight there once they get off the plateau. But, it's just such a wonderful way to do that. It sits there in the middle of the map, looming large. It's like, hey, I'm here for you, buddy. Whenever you're ready. Oh, you're not ready? You think you need better armor? You think you need better weapons? Oh, do you need the help of the divine beasts? No problem, mate. I'll be here. There's always that looming threat. And the fact that Hyrule Castle is very visible from most locations in Hyrule, it's omnipresent. It's always there, lurking, leering, taunting you. That's something I think that Hyrule generally does better than Burbank or wherever Horizon takes place, somewhere in California, is that wherever you are in Hyrule, you're almost always inside of at least one major landmark, like Hyrule Castle or Death Mountain, or that mountain with the weird split in it, or any of a couple other really obvious landmarks. Horizon, not so much. There's several distinct biomes, much like Hyrule has. But you plop me down in the forest, or the desert, or the snowy places, and I don't know where. I couldn't tell you exactly where on the map I am. You plop me anywhere in Hyrule, And even if I don't recognize that this is the Zora biome, I could look and say, okay, well, that's Death Mountain. And that's the swirly evilness that is Hyrule Castle. Okay, so I'm between Death Mountain and... Oh, Mount Lanayru is another obvious one. So you can go, okay, I know where I am. Horizon Zero Dawn, not so much. It's not as good with the recognizable landmarks that you can really tell where in the world you are. At least that's my experience. Jared says the parkour challenges usually get you a collectible like an anime statues with flowers or a cup or a picture of the past. Well, okay, well, yeah, some of them you do have to climb up. A lot of them are... In Breath of the Wild, you can free climb pretty much any surface. In Horizon Zero Dawn, you need specific handholds. And a lot of the times, the flower or the figurine or the vantage point, whatever you're looking for, will be on some type of butte, right? And it's simply a matter of walking around the entire thing until you see the ladder or the group of handhelds, and then it's just climb up and go grab it. So some of the puzzles are just walk around the butte until you find where we put the ladder. And by ladder, I mean the handholds, rather. There's not much challenge to it. I do like the climbing. It looks really nice. I like the way she jumps from handhold to handhold. It's really cool. There's no real skill in it. You don't really even have to push a button most of the time. You just press forward and she'll climb. So it looks good, but it's not mechanically very interesting to do. Oh, animal statues, not anime statues. Okay, yeah. I was wondering what that meant. Ronan says, one of these days someone will make an open world game where the main quest is on a secret timer. And if you goof around too long with side quests and other distractions, you will either fail the main quest or something horrible will happen that you could have prevented. I think we would all hate that. Deus Ex, which one? Human Revolution, I think, actually does that in the beginning of the game. Where at the beginning of the game, there's a Adam Jensen super cool sunglasses dude. There's hostages being held hostage, like hostages want to be. Hold me like a hostage right now. So, get your ass to wherever and go save the hostages. Well, that's not how I video game. So I explored the entire building, including the ladies' room. And all of the vents, and all of the offices, and the break room, and the basement, and the storage closet, and talked to every single person in the entire building. The security guy wondered why I was in the ladies' restroom. And then I went, and once I had explored every nook and cranny of the building, I then got in my helicopter taxi thing and went to go save the hostages, who had died half an hour ago. And I went, oh, you weren't kidding about this as a time-sensitive... Because I was like, oh, the hostages will wait. I'm the protagonist. I can take as much time as I want. The world will wait on me. This is what video games have taught me. And, yeah, Deus Ex Human Revolution is happy to dump a big old bucket of ice water in your lap on that one. Like, no. We told you it was time sensitive. All the hostages are dead. You rescued a bunch of corpses, Adam. Good job, buddy. I hope the women's restroom was really worth it. I don't think it was. I don't think there was anything hiding in there that I remember, but the vents were definitely worth it. So, of course, I restarted the game and went straight to the landing pad and rescued the hostages. Then I explored the women's bathroom. And so far as I know, there's nothing else in the game that does that. I don't think there's anything else. But it does make you think. Anytime someone in the game says, oh my god, my mom's been kidnapped and I think it was my cat. Can you help me? It's like, I should probably drop what I'm doing and help this guy. Otherwise, the cat might eat his mother or something. Yeah, so I understand why games don't do that. What is it, Chrono Trigger? The one where they put you on trial for stealing someone's sandwich, for being the typical video game person who just walks into everyone's house and rummages through their closet and, breaks all their pots and picks up anything that's not nailed down, and then they put you on trial and they're like, you were stealing these people's stuff. You're a bad person. You should feel bad. And you're like, but I'm the protagonist. It's my right. Chicago says, doesn't the Bionis have an elevator? I think its esophagus has like a geyser that shoots you up towards the neck. I don't remember if it has an elevator or not, but you can fast travel to any point you've already been to, so traveling around, especially because you're going to want to go back to Colony 9, 4, 13, whatever, and help them rebuild and talk to people and stuff. And it would be terrible if you had to hoof it all the way back. You could just fast travel. Cafe Fox says, I like to make sure everything is complete before I move on to the next area. Yeah, me too. So if there's open side quests, I have a real difficult time getting onto the main path until everything else is done. And in Horizon Zero Dawn, there's always something to do. There's a lot of stuff to do. So I honestly, I really don't remember what the main plot of the game is. I don't remember. I have no idea. I don't know what the defeat Ganon of Horizon Zero Dawn is. I'll probably remember it once I go talk to Olin, whatever his name is, who's been standing around somewhere in Meridian for 60 hours, going like, where the hell is Aloy? It seemed important to me. What is she doing? Helping out everyone else in the entire land? So yeah, a lot of people need my help. I'm apparently the only one who can do anything. I wish the machines and it's probably a story reason for it, but I wish the machines weren't all so damn aggressive. Like they all have it out for you. Like there can be deer machines and they're grazing on grass, and I'm walking down a road and they're like, "There's that son of a bitch, get her!" And I'm like, "Go away!" Every time you get in a fight in that game, you attract every machine for a square mile. It can actually be really annoying. Because I was walking along the path, and there was, I think, a Ravager in my way. And I'm like, alright, I'll take on this Ravager. I could use the parts or whatever. So I fight this Ravager, and like, 2 Watchers show up from out of nowhere, and I looked around. They spawned in. That was Monster Closet Bullpucky right there, game. So these 2 little Watchers, which aren't a problem, but they're constantly tripping on me. Or I'm tripping over them. And then 2 more Ravagers show up. And then a 4th Ravager shows up. And then 2 Glinthawks show up. I'm like, God damn, I just wanted to fight 1 damn Ravager just for a couple extra metal shards. Go away. Not your fight, you little bastards. Piss off. One of the things I love about Monster Hunter World / Iceborne, most of the monsters in that game do not care about you at all. Most of them. There are a couple that will attack on sight, but most of them, they don't give a... As long as you don't attack them, they don't even really notice you. They don't care. And I kind of love that. It really makes you feel like, 1, part of the world, and 2, that this is actually a living, breathing ecosystem, and also that you are insignificant. Like, the monsters see you, they'll look at you, but they don't care. Why would they? They're 20 times larger than you. They're like, a little dude with a bow and arrow. That's cute. Nice outfit. Dork. I wish Horizon Zero Dawn had a little bit of that. There's probably story reasons. I mean, they are machines. They're probably programmed to bite anything that comes near them. But it does get... I kind of want to just frolic through a meadow of grazers. But I can't, because they will try to trample my ass. Let's see. Chaos says Horizon Zero Dawn is in Colorado. Oh, is it? I thought it was in California. I thought one of the... the pickups, the Oh no, you're right because you're right. What I'm probably thinking of is one of the data logs was mentioning something in California. I was like, oh, this is in California, but yeah, up in I think the Frozen Wilds DLC area, there's a animal preserve which is definitely in Colorado. So yeah, that's right. With sections in Utah and Arizona. The DLC is Wyoming. Or the sequel's California. Oh, okay. But the DLC is in Wyoming? Am I okay? I'm forgetting. I'm probably just getting all the different places confused. Anyway, hostages killed because I was in the ladies' room. I think they'd understand. Cafe says Chicago. Yeah, Cafe Box says I don't remember that, so I guess I saved them. When your pilot friend crashes, she'll either die or be saved if you're quick enough. Oh, yeah, I think there's a yeah. Okay, so she can die if you take too long. That's not too surprising. That's one of those. You're in a hangar and she lands and a bunch of enemies. It's like get in there and shoot things. I guess if you take too long, she'll die. But the hostage thing is, I figured the time limit would start once I started the mission. No, it starts now. It's get your ass in here, go. Anyway, Frozen Wilds is Yellowstone. Okay, so that would be Wyoming. Okay, because there's like a wildlife preserve where you get animals and they're like brought to you by the Wyoming something or other. And it seems to me remember here's the black bear brought to you by something. I don't remember what it says anymore because it's been more than 5 minutes and my brain doesn't keep track of things anymore because it's still pounding on the inside of my skull. I should probably take some Tylenol or something like that. So we're a little after 8. It's amazing how I had 2 topics, Pokemon and Cuphead, and still managed to ramble for an hour. So I hope you all enjoy my ramblings and my cat noises. And I was looking at the weight bar behind me. One of my acquaintances from work messaged me like 5 or 10 minutes after my workday was over. He's like, "Dude, you still there?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, "Can I call?" I said, "Sure." So we get on a Teams call. Teams? Yeah, Teams. And it doesn't matter. But he says, "I want you to watch this video." I'm like, "Oh no, it's never a good. It's never a good thing when someone out of the blue sends you a video, because it's funny." And anyway, he sent me a video of a challenge where someone had a 100 kilogram dumbbell, which would be it'd be like 222 pounds, and he's like, "If you can lift this 100 kilogram dumbbell with one hand, I will give you 1,000 pounds. And so it's a 10-minute video of people trying to lift this obscenely heavy dumbbell off the ground. And one guy does, and he gets 1,000 pounds. And I have no idea what the conversion from pounds to US dollars is. And so this work acquaintance is like, "Could you do that?" I said, "No." Fun challenge though. I mean, I'd like to give it a try, but I'm pretty with a strap, sure, but one hand just with regular grip, no. Especially also, I think it was one of those independently turning grips where it's not a solid grip. It spins, so you have to hold it would easily just roll right out of your hand. You have to hook your thumb and really hold on. Yeah, 100K, one hand, no straps on, that rotating bar thing, probably not. I'll be honest, no, probably not. In fact, I'm pretty confident that I could not. So, funny, he also sent me another video of some professional power lifter who dressed in baggy clothes and tried to prank personal trainers by pretending to be an uncoordinated dork, and then showing off, like deadlifting 400 pounds and stuff like that. And it's a funny idea, I suppose, but I felt like these trainers were pretty. I think they were just humor. It was either staged or these trainers were humoring him because baggy pants or not, when this guy got down into push-up position, you look at his backside and legs and it's like that's solid there. This is a guy who can definitely lift. You're not hiding that. I don't care how baggy your pants are. And if I notice that, trainers are definitely going to notice that. So it's either entirely staged or you just had some really polite trainers just swinging with it. Chicago says, what if you just lift up the 100 kilo weights from the end? Do you have to lift the whole thing? Yeah, you had to... So here's a dumbbell. This is just 15 pounds. You had to, it was, sitting on the ground. You had to grab it and then pull it up and lock, just... Can I back up anymore? Yeah, so you had to pick it up off the ground and then lock, hold, and then you could put it down. So you had to pick it up all the way to here. And remember, this is 100 kilos, so the weight, extends like this far from this side and this far from this side. So you kind of have to hold it like this with this bit going, going between your legs, because you can only pick it up about this far, because there's no possible way to just hold it out like that. So yeah, I mean, you couldn't just lift one end or two-hand it. You had to actually lift the whole thing up with one hand. Can I lift that much weight off of the floor? Sure, absolutely. One-handed. With a strap, maybe. With no strap, probably not. Again, especially if it's one of those damn spinny grips, almost certainly not. I'm a fairly strong dude, but that is a challenge. Ronan says, I just assume all prank videos are staged. It's probably better if they are, just for safety's sake. Most pranks I don't like, because a lot of pranks are, the idea is, some of the pranks are like, let's scare someone. Put on a spooky clown costume and then chase them in a deserted parking garage in the middle of the night. It's like, and they, oh, gee! It's like, okay, sure, but someone's gonna shoot you. That's number one. I don't find scaring people that funny. I don't want to. I mean, going boo, fine, but genuinely terrifying people to the point where they might fight back, not a good idea. Probably don't want to do that. Someone could get hurt. Is the thing. This prank where he's going into the gym, I have a feeling that's probably staged. That would be a hard thing to record the way they did without anybody noticing what they were doing, or getting really suspicious. So that particular one, it's like, oh, you got me. You're actually a power lifter. Ho ho ho. It's like, okay, that's kind of funny. No one's hurt by that. At worst, you're wasting someone's time. But I mean, if you compensate them for it, it's fine. But yeah, assume that all prank videos are staged. That's a pretty good assumption. Like the reaction video I did with the fluffy kittens thing. I hate to break it to anyone who wanted to believe, but that whole thing, it's staged. It's a joke. It's scripted. And I've had people, were you really? No, it's staged. It's a joke. Do you think I accidentally had a camera set up in my living room and then I accidentally recorded it and accidentally edited it together and accidentally uploaded it to YouTube? Nope. No, whole thing was planned, scripted, and staged. That's how these things work. So, anyway, let us draw this to a close. Were you totally impressed by the way I could hoist that 15 pounds off the ground? Or for our friends across the pond, I don't know, 6K, something like that. So yeah, so tomorrow, actually I'll be recording some more monthly movie mini reviews with my sister tomorrow. We are still in December. We are very, very behind. Chicago did not see the Fluffy Kitties video. Now, you don't need to. You really don't. It's probably fairly disturbing, but I'll find it for you here. Let's see. Here it is. It's called Why I Don't Do Reaction Videos. There you go. Enjoy. Be horrified. Be disgusted. Oh, back to Elden Ring? I'm still not trying my best to not start any new games until I finish the games that are sitting on my floor there. I still have 3 games that are in process. Horizon Zero Dawn, which is really long. Xenoblade Chronicles, which is really long. And Astral Chain, which I think I only have like 2 chapters left, so probably only like 4 or 5 more hours in Astral Chain before I finish that one. But I would really like to finish those 3 games before I start anything new, which is why we've been sticking to Trails in the Sky for the Sunday shows. So join me tomorrow, noon Pacific Standard Time, because are we barreling headlong into the end game of Trails in the Sky's 2nd chapter? I don't know. It kind of feels like it. We've explored all of the various areas in Liberl, and now we are going to visit the 4 towers and probably fight an Ouroboros enforcer at the top of each one. So that feels like the prelude to the end game to me. But I don't know. We'll see. You thought it was the other kitten video. Is there another kitten video? Do I have 2 kitten videos? Well, I do have, the one I linked, I did show to my mother and to my sister, and I recorded their reactions to my reaction video, and those are 2 separate videos. So, there's the original video, Mom's reaction, and Kelly's reaction, so I don't know if that's what you're thinking of. Chaos says, take me years to get through my backlog. Unfortunately, buying games and playing them are 2 separate hobbies. True that. What I'm doing is not getting through my backlog. I'm trying to finish the games I started but didn't complete. Or at least a good chunk of the... I have some games I started years ago and just never finished. Like, Obscure... What's it called? The Aftermath. Which is a Wii game, which I've actually started twice and just never finished. It's something I'd like to go back to, but it's something I'll have to start from the beginning. Like, let's see. Alright, so these GameCube games, one of them, Baten Kaitos Origins, I haven't even started yet. Some of these Wii games I've started, but I'd need to start them over because it's been years. So, but these games on the floor here, right there, those are games that are in progress. I don't need to start them over, I just need to finish them. So I'd really like to finish those games before I start a new one. So that's the plan. My backlog, again, most of the games on the top shelf here, all the way up until Winback, which is a N64 game, almost all of these games right here are games that I have not played. That's my physical backlog right here. My digital backlog is will die with me. There's just too much. It's well over 1,000 games, if not more. So, and a lot of them were like from various charity bundles and stuff. Anyway, I'm rambling. So join me tomorrow, noon Pacific Standard Time, for more Trails in the Sky goodness. And I think I will have some Tylenol because my brain hurts. So have a lovely evening, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.